Okay, I've been doing lots of bits and pieces to this over the last week. I haven't got a lot done on it, but I've been very busy, as the case may be. Now, I'm just changing this pilot from the military one to a private one because I done a lucky dip, as you might call it. Picked up the winner, looked at it. Oh no, that was my oddball one. I thought I'd put that in just to make the numbers up, but obviously that's the one that's going to come up. It's Murphy's Law, isn't it? You know. So I've got to do, well, I haven't got to do, but I'm actually doing a civilian one, and I'm not going to tell you what it is until the end, because like I said, it's a bit of an oddball one, colour scheme. So that's even if I can get it done, you know, but we'll see. But I am changing the pilot to the civilian version. I've had to cut off his May West, and I've glued up some sprue into the holes that were left, and I'm just sanding that down now. Right, like I said, I've done quite a bit to this, and I decided a few things. Because I'm doing that particular one, it's not going to be the pilot standing outside with the joystick in his hand, because it interferes. If the cables get entangled in it, it could throw the novice pilot right off. It could lock the controls up, so they take the control column out on his first solo flight, which is the one I was going to do when I first started, but now that's been changed. So I might do that with the next Tiger Moth I do, because I want to do the little 1/72 ones from Airfix. Their new tooling ones. They seem to be very nice, so I'll do it with those ones. But this one, oh dear, I've let myself into something. Anyway, again, I've done the engine. That's together and been sanded down now. That's ready. The other pilot I glued together, but I'm not going to be using him. The mechanic I glued together as well, but again, not using him. I've done a lot of painting on it, and oh, it's a bit of a seam there. It's been going quite nicely, but slowly. Like I said, I've had a lot of work on. My back fence was started. I've had to finish that while the sun's shining, so I've had to nip out there when the sun comes out and do a little bit of the fence, and starts raining, so I nip back in here and do a bit more to this. Plus, as some of you may know who play games as well, there's the WildStar game that's just come out. I did buy a pre-release for this, but that's come out, so I'm playing that in the evening as well, doing this during the day. Even so, it's a bit, oh, it's very busy here, very busy, too busy, always the same. I think that's done. I'll have to put some prime on it just to check it. Excuse me, I'll have a look at the close. Yes, I think that's done, except for that bit there. Oh, I'm going to cut that off there. Where you come from? Oh, yeah. I had a small hole left in the top, so I used a piece of sprue that's been stretched with a spike on it, you see, and pushed that into the hole, glued it in, and cut the top off. It's a good way of filling small holes that are too big for filler, but too big to leave. Paint won't fill them. And I've still got a bit of that filler in there, so I've got to stick some filler on this now. I'll have to let that dry, and I'll nip out and do some more to my fence, as the case may be. So I'll have to put him away for a minute. Next thing, after I come back, I'm going to jump down onto these dashboards, because they're the next thing to go in. I've cleaned up the fuselage and got that to sit in nicely. Whoops, there we go, take that off there. I've also put in the bulkheads, if I can get this out as well. I put the bulkheads in here, as you can see. I've done the floor and the seats. I took the control column out before I knew that I needed it in there, so it's for the other one, when it was going to go into the other pilot's hand, that I was going to chop up and make him stand, but that's gone by the by now, and I need some solid glue for this. I need a little bead of glue just on the bottom of this here. I have drilled it out for a hole where the control column goes into, and it will go back into that hole, but I want some solid. Get on there, you pain. It would have been easy if I hadn't had already glued this in. There we go. All in there, back in its hole. And as you can see, I've redone the sides. I think I've got a video on that anyway, so it might be in this one. Please excuse me if I have already said about this, but I've changed the let me get something to point with. I changed these levers here and here to the right ones instead of a big lump of plastic. This one here I've left as is from the kit. This one here I've moved from over here to here. This is where it's supposed to be, not over here. And I think this is in the wrong place as well. I think this should be back here further, and this bar should be back further as well, but I'm not going to scrub all that out and put it in correctly. It's not going to be worth it. You're not going to see it once the pilot's in there. Once I put the pilot in the back here for flying the aircraft, you're not going to see it at all. But I know I've done it, so put all the control cables in as well, as you can see here. The back here, I don't know whether you can see them there. You might do when I put it on the big screen, but there's a couple of control cables there that go back to these trims for the trim tabs. I've got the throttle cable going forward as well. I've got the two controls linked together as well, which is something that people do forget, and there's some you do find that you can actually see them when you look in. Again, this side I've still got to put some silver on this slack control here, but as you notice, there's no slack control in the front part of this. Excuse me, I'm out of the way. There's no slack control in the front here. That's because it's only in the pilot section. It's never in the passenger section. So when a new pilot comes in, he's always in the back end of this, because that's where you have to do solo flighting from the rear cockpit. The front cockpit is usually the instructor, and you're not allowed to touch this until the instructor tells you to. And I've drilled the holes inside as well for the there's two in the top here, there's two in the top, two in the bottom down here that I've marked up in the right places, well, according to them. And of course I hit the bar, shouldn't do that, and this one here actually goes right through the peg here as well, both sides. So I had a lot more thicker drilling there. But I'm not going to use the cable they give you. I'm going to use stretch sprue. And let me just cut this bit up here because it's a bit thick at that particular end. Oh, picked up the wrong ones, never mind. I have to cut that again. Get that there. I use their size of drill, so this might not fit, but I can now put the stretch sprue into the hole and glue it there. Glue it to the other section and do the old trick of a little bit of heat. Actually, that's gone through, so that's perfect. You see, that's an absolute perfect size for this hole here. That's ready to glue in there. Glue it loose like that if you need to, and then apply heat to it, and it will stretch tight. So that's what I've got to do. It'll be a bit thinner than that one. I could put the cores through, but the paint scheme, it's complicated around this area, and this is where the wires are. I've got two more holes to drill in each side down here, to put cables in. Cables, are they cables? Yes, they are. They're the stabilizer. Yeah, stabilizer elevators cables on either side of that there. And I think I've got 2 more to put in at the top here that are for the rudder. Actually, I've got to put 4 in because each one has what they call as a closed loop system. It's basically a wire going from a bell crank this end to the bell crank on the elevator, from the bottom of the elevator bell crank back into the fuselage to the other bell crank, and then from that bell crank it's got a solid rod going to the controls itself. So you've only got the one rod pushing up and down on a little bell crank just in the back here, and the bell crank pulls each of the surfaces, whether it pulls it down or pulls it up. It doesn't push pull. You try pushing with a cable, you see, you know what I mean. If you try and push with a cable, it's not going to work. On a closed loop system, it's always pull, and then the bottom one will pull back to push it the other way, or lift it the other way, I should say, not push. Because I've heard a couple of people say, oh, it's a push-pull system. It's not. You can't push-pull it. The rod bit you can push and pull, no trouble at all. But when it comes to the cable going to the surfaces, it's a closed loop system of wires, and you can't push a wire. I know I'm going to get a bit of complaints about that, but you can't push a wire. There are circumstances where you can push a wire when it's inside a plastic tube, but on a real aircraft they don't have that sort of situation. The old radio controlled push rods, they run on a very thin rod through a plastic tube, which the outside plastic tube stops the inside thinner cable to stay in place and not bend out. Right, so I've got a lot more to do on this, and it's popped out for me. Well, I'm going to clamp that up and glue that back into position again, because it's actually come right out. I understand why that does it. Tie them off. I've not had much time to do this. I've been getting some other jobs and bits and pieces out of the way before I could do anything. And I've been too tired to do anything really. But what I have done, as you can see here, I don't know where you can see that. Let me try and come in a bit on this. What I've done is I've done the weathering on the engine itself. I painted it black, and I've done a dry brush on the fins to bring them out. I put some silver on some of the components here as well. I haven't gone to do all brass and all that sort of stuff on it, because basically you'll never see it. The pig piece on this is this cowling. It's in 5 parts, 4 of these and the front part. Last time I done this, it was I had the 2 sides open so you could see through it. This time I decided to just close them up, and it's been a pig of a job to get these all level. There was one short, one long, and it didn't fit. It just didn't want to fit. I don't remember this being like this on the Matchbox one that I did. And as you can see, even though I've got it all nicely fitting now, it's still a bit of a pig to get on and off. I probably will leave it loose so I can take it off to show the engine that I've done. I might do some more detailed fittings afterwards, but for now that is going to be it. I've done a white undercoat on this primer, and I've shaded in the black areas where I know that the joints have to be, and I've only done this because I want to make sure the joints are okay. Some are, some have disappeared completely, so I'm going to have to re-scribe those in. This is fine here as well, so that's been re-scribed in as well here, and that looks fine to me. Next stage of the game is, if I can find it, I can't find it.